celebrates the resilience and ingenuity of small, medium, and big businesses. We don't just keep an eye on the stock exchange market, we're in touch with our local markets too. Join us every Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. on Hard Facts, 10.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. There's a reason why over 1 million people tune into Hard Facts every day. We discuss in-depth stories with sources behind the facts.
The Lagos State High Court has convicted, suspended the Chicago certificate stories, never going away, is it? Show with stories for the day.
You hear diverse voices and opinions.
And she was meeting campaign with her husband, knowing that. You should not feel happy because there is nothing to happy about.
Yeah, it's quite pathetic the way the country is going.
We distinguish each story accurately with analysis.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's another Wednesday and we are in Balogun and Broad. We're merging everything today because Broad Street, they feel am. Balogun, they feel am. We're going to talk about the economy, but most importantly, the oil and gas sector, the NNPC. The reason why we still have queues stretched out across the country, the subsidy is gone, the very famous line. And what exactly is going on between the NNPC, Dangote, and why? Or if we will ever be able to get past this, especially now that we're in 2024. Well, my guest is joining us from River State. He's been here on the show before, and I'm always glad to have him join us in the studio. Fyneface Dumnamene is the national facilitator of project with Artisanal Crude Oil Refiners in the Niger Delta. Fyneface, the day that I will be able to pronounce your name without stuttering, you give me 1 million naira. It's good to have you join us, Mr. Dumnamene. Thank you for joining us. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, your connection is really, really bad, and I'm hoping that we would be able to have this conversation because you're frozen. So is your audio. I don't know if you can change the connection and come back in because we can barely see or hear you. Yeah, your connection is really bad. Can you hear me? All right, we're going to try to see if we can get our guest to join us again. But then what's at the core of our conversation today is, of course, the effect of this petrol scarcity on Nigeria's already ailing economy. We already know that the economy is shaking, standing on one leg. And here we are having to deal with an increased price, fuel price. We're having to deal with, of course, the possibility of a price hike in every other thing, including transportation. But Fyneface obviously is an expert when it comes to the oil and gas business. He's dealt with artisanal refineries, and he probably might be some background to this. Mr. Dumnamene, can you hear me? Oh. Can you hear me? I don't think you need that light. Well, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So your connection is very bad. It's breaking, and it's freezing.
Yes, I can hear you.
So your connection is very bad. It's breaking and it's freezing your video. I don't know if you want to leave the meeting and join again because the connection is really bad. Can you leave the meeting and join us again? Let's see if your connection will be better.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're breaking. If it's possible, can you leave the meeting and come back in? Or maybe we can call you via telephone. Let's try again and see if you leave the meeting and come back. It'll be easier for you to join us. Okay? If not, we'll call you via telephone.
Want to dive into the exciting world of real estate and housing? Welcome to Madam Landlord, where we guide you through the ins and outs of property market. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a first-time buyer, or renting, we have got you covered.
You will be the one to go around look for a house, and when you call them, they start charging you for rubbish. All of a sudden, the house just cheap for nothing. The industry standard is about 10%. You can do 5%. There's nobody's your house. For God's sake, it can be controlled.
Join us every fortnight on Wednesdays as we bring you expert advice, exclusive interviews, and insider tips from industry professionals. From negotiation strategies to property management hacks, we will explore it all. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and empowered to make smart decisions when it comes to real estate dreams. We'll help you to navigate the market like a pro. Join us every fortnight from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Journalism, bridging the gap between people and those in authority. With Hard Facts, you are sure to get only the facts.
Tune in to Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
While we try to get our guests to connect to us again on a better network, hopefully, I'll just give you an opportunity to understand where we're coming from in this conversation, especially with the fact that every single person understands what it is, whether you own a car or not, to not have fuel, because you know that if you have to jump bus to work and back, then you might be, one of our colleagues just came to work late today because she's been on the road looking for a bus to get to work, and she couldn't find any until when she was able to find one. That's when she showed up to work. And this can also be a spanner in the wheels of a lot of things, businesses. Some people's daily bread is to drive a bus or an okada or keke, and if they're unable to do that, unfortunately, there's no business for that day. Children will not have what to eat. They might not even be able to buy fuel to put in the generator to have lights for that night. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a whole web that's been affected. But Fyneface is going to help us to make sense of it all. Fyneface, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
All right. Your connection is still very bad, but we'll just manage. Let's start by looking at...
All right.
Let's start by looking at what's been happening with the NNPC. The stories that we've been told, we were made to understand that with subsidy gone, things would be easier and better for us as a country. Those monies would be put to better use, and we'll probably have no queues again in the country. Here we are, a year plus after subsidy is gone. We're still having to deal with stories of the NNPC owing 6-point-something billion naira. We're still having to deal with the fact that, now the NNPC is going to be the sole buyer from Dangote. In fact, Nigerians yesterday had a rude awakening where, as that morning, people were buying fuel for 500 naira or 500 plus. But by noon, the price had gone up to 800 and something naira, depending on where you are. Where do we even start to deal with this issue? Is there something, let me say it like Africa, is there jazz in the NNPC that's not allowing for us to be able to refine our crude or even go, find a way out of the rot that's, bedeviling us in terms of our own refineries?
Yeah, I think I will start from the fact that I just bought a liter, 1,200, less than 7 minutes ago.
In Port Harcourt.
To find my way to where in Port Harcourt, yeah. And we are not only buying at 1,002 in some places are 1,004. The places that are at the outskirts of the city, 1,005 and 1,006 per liter, and you have to buy. And in addition to this, in the city, you have queue at the filling stations. Almost every filling station has queue. So Nigerians are not only spending more for a liter of PMS, but also begging to buy at the price that was not up to when they trooped to the streets in 2012 for the Occupy Nigeria protest. And I keep saying that I think Nigerians, we have to apologize to former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan for coming to the streets when fuel was increased to below 100 naira per liter. So as we speak today, Nigerians are begging to buy at an exorbitant prices. The NNPCL is a country inside Nigeria. So it's a country inside a country.
Really?
It is a country, the company that has and is holding the fate of Nigerians. In fact, as the chief executive officer of NNPCL, you are more powerful than the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The way it is today, I must put it that way. Because now, they have unilaterally just yesterday to today increased the price of PMS to about 850 naira by the official pronouncement. But then at the filling station, what are we getting? Now, just yesterday, Dangote came forward to say he has commenced the refining of PMS. On a normal ground, people should be happy that we are going to get a good deal from the system. But the system is more frustrated and worse than what we expected. That is to say, there are some cabals within the system that do not want whatever will be good for Nigerians to work out. The NNPCL, in order to manipulate the entire price regime of Dangote Refinery, they came forward to say they are going to be the sole buyer of their PMS. Even when ab initio, they refused to sell crude oil to Dangote to refine the product for Nigerians. Now, the capacity of the Dangote Refinery, which is about 650,000, is more than enough for the country. But don't be surprised that some people that are benefiting from the subsidy regime, the corruption involved in subsidy, are all working out modalities.
Fyneface, are you there? Oh my goodness, I think he froze. Mr. Dumnamene, can you hear me? Yeah, I think we lost that connection there. It's been very tricky for us to get him on a very clear line, and we successfully were able to do that. Unfortunately, he's gone for a second time. Let's hope that he's back. Mr. Dumnamene, can you hear me? Oh dear. Here we go. In case you're just joining us, it's Balogun Broad, and we're talking about the NNPC. We're talking about subsidy. We're talking about fuel scarcity. We're talking about these endless lines and queues at petrol station. And we're also looking at the effects, the adverse effects it's having on the already ailing Nigerian economy. Where do we go from here? My guest has said that there are some cabals, and I'm sorry, but with due respect, I detest that word, cabals, because it makes it sound like what we call a government is not a government, because nobody should be more powerful than the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So come again with that story that there are people who are in the oil business that are more powerful than our government, that have refused for us to go forward. I mean, what does that make our government look like? Does that make our government complicit, or does it make them look less powerful?
I think it makes more of our government looking less powerful, not really complicit, because the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria may want to make things better for Nigerians, but there are people within the system that are more powerful than the president. One of which, in terms of a corporate citizen, is the NNPCL. The NNPCL is so powerful that it is fixing prices. It is using crude oil to borrow money and raise dollars for Nigeria. It is doing everything it can to be the sole controller of what Nigerians are going to get from the system. So the chief executive officer of the NNPCL has proven to be more powerful than the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria when it has to do with PMS and crude oil business in the country. You remember just yesterday, the Minister of Finance came forward to say that they do not have a hand in what is currently happening in terms of the price of PMS that has been increased. The minister also talked about the fact that President Tinubu never promised silver bullets, which is an act of fixing Nigeria's problem in a jiffy or in a hurry or magically. So we are currently, living at our own fates, at our peril. Nobody is there to speak for us. And you remember during the negotiation of the minimum wage, there was a promise that the price of PMS wasn't going to be increased. But here we are today with an increment in the price of PMS, less than 2 months after there was an agreement on 70,000 naira minimum wage for workers. So as we speak, like the NSC president said, there is a betrayal. And this betrayal is beyond the capacity and beyond the control of Mr. President. This is what we call fate, F-A-T-E in literature, which we call power looked upon as controlling all events in such a way that it cannot be resisted. What is currently happening is beyond the capacity and beyond the control of Mr. President. And it's going to continue like this because the NNPCL has proven to be more powerful than some persons within the corridors of power. And it is unfortunate that not just Nigerians are being frustrated.
I really want to differ. I really want to differ on this issue. I want to differ on this issue because, and I'm going to go as far back as the Buhari administration. Former President Buhari took on the office of the petroleum minister. So has President Tinubu, and obviously means that the downstream, upstream, or the NNPC will all be answerable to the president. And you're here telling me that Mele Kyari somewhat is the most powerful man in the country, and making the president look bad. I don't understand. I beg to differ. Who does Mele Kyari take his orders from? Does he not take his orders from Mr. President?
Let me give you a classical example. The former governor of the central bank, Mohammed Sanusi, have said it time with that number that the NNPCL is too powerful. That is CBN governor telling you here. Now, we all know that the presidency have responded to the price increase by the NNPCL, that they do not have a hand in it and they do not control the NNPCL and what they do. And you are here saying that they are answerable to the president. How are they answerable to the president? It is very clear that they are powerful than even Mr. President in terms of what has to do with PMS, petrol, crude oil in the country. You can also remember that they were even playing and carrying out international relations in the past, whereby they have to pledge some barrels, some millions of barrels of crude oil in exchange for some dollars for the country to meet up the shortfall. That wasn't their function. That was the function of the Central Bank of Nigeria. But they went into that because they are powerful, they are questionable, and it is a country within a country. What we are currently having is just an unfortunate situation. And I think Mr. President should return from China and be able to call a Federal Executive Council meeting and be able to address this issue. Because if this matter is not properly addressed, today is just the 4th day of September. Nigerians have said on the 1st of October, they are going to hit the street back, like what happened on August 1. And the situation is going to be worse than what we had on August 1. And Mr. President should not allow that to happen. Because the situation we have in the country today is not even up to what we used to have in the past. And you have a military takeover of government. This is a revolution that is about to happen in Nigeria, and it's going to be worse for Mr. President. Remember that if you put those who voted Mr. President into office in 2023, if you put them together with those who voted, the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, and of course the Labour Party presidential candidate, you will see that if you mesh that of Labour Party and PDP together, they are more than those who voted for Mr. President to be in power. And if you put those two group of people together and they hit the streets, I believe that Mr. President himself will even withdraw his comment that is we should hit the ground running. You will see that Nigerians will hit the ground running, and it's going to be a dangerous trend for him. So this is the time for him to address this issue. He has to return subsidy if they were not paying it already, but I know they were paying subsidy. That is why the NNPCL have said they are owing over $3 billion US.
6.3.
I think they need to see what they can do, fix our refineries, support the private refinery owners and other refinery owners to be able to address this issue. Give all the necessary support to Dangote to ensure that within the next 2 weeks, he is able to refine sufficiently for the country so that what we are currently passing through does not happen. Otherwise, the economy will grumble and the situation will be out of hand. I
want to go on a break, but when we come back, I want to still sit on this issue of the NNPC, because the NNPC has been changed from NNPC to NNPCL. And how does a company that is somewhat in how do they call it? NNPCL, which is a limited liability company. How is it now going to be solely in charge of buying fuel or crude from Dangote? Why does it still have that much power? We're going to talk about the nitty-gritties. We'll be right back after this break.
Yourself?
Are you going to do the plumbing work for me?
Nah. With Workman, I don't have to do guesswork. You can get reliable plumbers around you in minutes. Download the Workman app today from your Play Store or iOS and get service providers help you get what you need done, ranging from hairdresser, plumber, electrician, carpenter, bricklayer, mechanic, and others.
You don't mean it.
See, I just requested for a plumber for you. He should be here soon.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank Walkman. To find Walkman app, just type WRK Man on your Play Store and you will see. Download Walkman now and get a discount of 3,000 Naira on your first use with the promo code RADIO. Need help? Get help. Get help.
Experience a new level of comfort in Emirates Business from Lagos with daily flights to Dubai and beyond from 1st October. Stretch out and relax in flatbed seats. Savor flavors from around the world with delicious fine dining and explore thousands of entertainment channels. In Emirates Business, you can look forward to your journey as much as your destination. Book now at emirates.com. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Tell me which kind thing Viva no fi wash away. Gelato, tomato paste, coffee stain your body. Viva go wash away. Chicken for your clothes now, all you need for Viva to wash away. Gentle for your pocket, gentle for your hand. Oh my Viva, you couldn't make you shine. Oh Viva, Viva. Oh no no. I love my Viva, oh Viva. Oh no no. Uncle say bye bye to very top stage, yo. Oh no no. Mama say bye bye to any kind stage, yo. Oh no no. Oh Viva, Viva. Oh no no.
When you want it easy and you don't know where to go for your food and groceries, there's an app you need to know. Everything you need and more. Mano gets it. Oh, oh, oh. Mano gets it. One app. All you need. Oh, oh, oh. Mano gets it. From your phone to your door. Mano gets it.
Download the Mano app on Google Play Store or iOS App Store to order your essentials from groceries, food, and more. Mano, products you love delivered in minutes.
This could happen to anyone.
Have you brought it?
Yes, so confirm. I just removed it from the pack.
Correct. Sir, here's the money.
Pleasure doing business with you, bro. Later now.
Can't wait to floss my brand new iPhone. Wait, what's wrong with this logo? Is this thing original? Bro, come back, I beg. I don't want again, I beg.
Don't let this happen to you. Beware of buying an unauthorized or pre-activated iPhone. Find peace of mind. Look for the Reddington sticker on the box. This assures you that your purchase is authorized. It also affords you 24 months warranty and a 6-month screen or liquid damage cover. You can also scan the QR code in store to check authenticity. As a Nigerian, you deserve to experience the very best that Apple has to offer. Look out for the sticker on the box.
My guy, how far now?
Oh boy, network no allow me run transfer give my mama. Since morning, only one bar. Can you imagine? I beg, hotspot me now.
No be Union Bank account you dey use.
Yes, na Union Bank.
Now, just dial *826# and you go fit send the bar without data.
You walk oh.
Before call, now you no get updates now.
Take advantage of the seamless *826# USSD. Pay bills, send money, buy airtime, and even generate the pay code and PIN for cardless withdrawals. Embrace data-free banking today. Dial *826# to get started. Available to new and existing customers. Union Bank, your simpler, smarter bank.
When it's football you want, get it all on DSTV. All the leagues, all the cups, all the matches live. Because when it comes to football, we've got it all. All day, all night. No matter what package you're on, you're always going to get football on DSTV.
Get an HD decoder at the promo offer of 22,900 Naira and stay connected. DSTV, your home of football.
Shalatam, quality anti-malaria, contains Artemisa and lumefantrine, available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets with very convenient dosing for kids. Shalatam is also available in tablets for adults. Knock out malaria in 3 days with Shalatam from Shalina Healthcare. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
Price of everything in the country just keeps going up.
That's not completely true, because the Samsung Blue Tax sale is here again. Simply walk into any accredited Samsung store, buy your Galaxy Z Fold 6, or you could trade in your old device and get your free double-door refrigerator that comes with 20 years warranty, digital inverter with voltage control and all-round cooling for maximum freshness. That's not all. There are discounts on the Samsung Galaxy A55, A15, and A05 series. As much as 70K off these devices. Offer starts from August 19th while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply.
A brighter tomorrow begins with smart choices today. With the Union Correct account from Union Bank, you get to secure your tomorrow and get rewarded while at it. You can start saving with just 5,000 naira monthly and enjoy fantastic interest rates. Yes, you can save as low as 5,000 naira. That's not all. Every 6 months, you stand a chance to win amazing cash prizes of up to 500,000 naira. Correct! Make that move. Open the Union Correct account today. To get started, visit any Union Bank branch or log on to our website at www.unionbankng.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Union Bank, your simpler, smarter bank.
Hi, I'm Natasha Kimani. I'm a governance and public policy expert and the host of Talk to Me Direct podcast. Talk to Me Direct is produced by Luminate. Luminate is a global foundation working to ensure that everyone, especially those underrepresented, have the information, rights, and power to influence decisions that affect their lives. In the next episode, I speak with a brilliant young person, Polly Washira, who works in a space that brings together rural community groups to organize for issues that matter to them.
Just collaborate. Don't be afraid to go out there. Don't work in silos. Don't go and try to change. The best thing that you can do is find other change makers and collaborate. Don't try to do this thing alone.
Like and subscribe to Talk to Me Direct wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
This is Hard Facts.
All right, we're back. It's still Balogun and Broad, and it's a Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we talk about businesses and the economy from different aspects. And today, we're talking about one of the ones that has really affected every facet of the Nigerian economy, which is fuel scarcity, the unending queues, the increase in the price of petrol, and most importantly, why the NNPC is in the middle of all of this, and we cannot get a real answer as to why. Like my guest said, they've become so powerful. My guest, Fyneface Dumnamene, is joining us from the Niger Delta, Port Harcourt. He's been talking to us about the NNPC and Mele Kyari seemingly are powerful than the president of the Republic of Nigeria, and that there's a cabal that runs the oil and gas system, and that cabal might never ever be defeated. So I did ask a question before we went on that break, Fyneface. Is there nothing that can be done to address this issue? Because you're still telling us that the NNPC is trying to be in charge of pricing. They're still going to try to manipulate the Dangote products when it comes into full stream into the market. Where does that leave us? And where does that leave the economy? Because all of this is affecting the economy, and we're an economy that is run by fuel, by petrol and diesel.
Yeah, I think there is a solution, there is a way out. And the first thing that can be done to get us out of this state of quagmire and predicament that escape seems to be difficult is to sack the chief executive officer of the NNPCL, Melikeri. He has overstayed his welcome and he needs to be sacked immediately. What Mr. President should note is that Melikeri, having been there for quite a long time, knows more than what he's supposed to know as a person, and he knows how to manipulate things to frustrate Mr. President's government. That is what he should understand. I know quite well that he may think that having been there for quite a long while, he may be able to address some of the issues. But at this point in time, we need to rejig the entire architecture of the NL.
But who's to say? Who's to say? Fyneface, who's to say that there will not be another Melikeri that will rise? That there will not be another person who's part of the so-called cabal that would find their way to the helm of affairs? I mean, really, rejigging the system. Are we going to bring people from Mars?
Look, I'm sharing the experience of what we have had in the Niger Delta.
Okay.
One of the ways I have advised the government to fight crude oil theft in the Niger Delta is by not allowing a particular police officer or army officer, JTF, Navy to spend more than 6 months at a particular post.
Okay.
The moment a security operative spends a longer time at a particular post, he will be involved in crude oil theft in the Niger Delta. You can quote me on that. That is what happens. So Melikeri, having been there for too long, is the reason why he is able to do what he's doing now. He is now more powerful. He is now as powerful as the immediate past CBN governor. So what Mr. President needs to do at this point in time is to sack Melikeri, because to the best of my knowledge, he is trying to frustrate his government. He's trying to give his government a bad name. And I know quite well that Mr. President have tried all he could to bring in the entire security chiefs that he brought on board. Many of them work with him as a former governor in Lagos State while he was governor. But then I must let Mr. President to understand that I should not allow any individual to frustrate his government and make his government to, be seen in a bad light. It is time for Melikeri to go and a new blood injected into NNPCL to address some of the issues that we currently have. NNPCL, having been made a limited liability company, is still operating like a corporation, assuming all the powers and doing everything as if it is Nigeria. The company is Nigeria itself, and whatever it likes is what it will do. You recall that it wasn't until Dangote raised alarm that they have refused to sell crude oil to him, and that some Nigerians have and are controlling the refinery in Malta. When they saw that he wanted to open the can of worm, they agreed to sell crude oil to him in Naira, which is beginning on October 1. All of this put together, those who have been benefiting from the massive corruption regime associated with the subsidy issue are those who don't want Dangote refinery to work, are those who don't want the Port Harcourt refinery to work, and are those who don't want any other refinery in the country to work so that the importation of product can continue. I recall a former governor or a sitting governor telling us on a live TV program that those who are involved in subsidy were even collecting money for products that are not imported into the country. They were collecting money for pipelines that were never laid. They were collecting money for crude oil product that was never pumped through the pipelines. A lot of these things happen, and those people are still around. It is high time we go into very strong house cleansing in this country. EFCC must come in at this point in time to look at those who are sabotaging the economy.
Oh, please.
I am surprised that arrests have not been made. The ICPC, I don't know what they are doing. And they are taking salary at the end of the month. 4 days ago, I believe the month ended and they took salary. And Nigerians are suffering. I don't know what they are doing. When they said they are existing at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and people are committing financial crimes against Nigerians, and nobody is talking. With the fuel pump price now at 1,200, 1,400, 5, and 6, no, you can't even find any government official at any filling station trying to talk to them, caution them to reduce the price at which they are selling. And most of the products they are now selling at exorbitant prices are those that they already had in their underground reservoir before now. So who is the person that is standing in for Nigerians? If the person we elected, Mr. President, is not standing in for Nigerians. As we speak and as Nigerians are passing through all of this, he is in China. And I believe strongly that They may not brief him sufficiently for what is happening in the country, but he needs to come back to the country that is currently boiling and see what he can do to address the situation on the ground.
Fyneface, in 1 minute, because I need to bring Lagos into this conversation and we have very little time. Do you think the president has what it takes to do that house cleaning that you're talking about? Is it within his capacity? With all that's happened under a year, does he have what it takes? And looking at all the people he surrounded himself with.
Exactly. Mr. President, yes, I believe he has what it takes to do the house cleansing in the country. Because he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And for that reason, he controls all the armed forces in this country and all the agencies. I know, although we talk about separation of powers, but no matter how we try to separate power, there must be synergy between the various organs of government for us to be able to move forward as a country. So Mr. President has the power and he can address the situation in the country now. But all he needs to do is to summon the political will, not minding those who funded his campaigns. Because I know quite well that as a president, a lot of people will come forward to fund your campaign. And when they fund your campaign, support your campaign one way or the other, when you get to office, you will try to not do things that will make you to step on their toes. Mr. President should sit up and make Nigeria better. Because if he does not fix Nigeria at this point in time, it will be difficult for him to ask for vote in 2027.
All right, let's open up the phone lines. Fyneface Dumnamene is the national facilitator of project with Artisanal Crude Oil Refiners, PACOR, in the Niger Delta, which covers obviously Rivers Delta, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Edo. Did I leave anyone out? Bayelsa. Yes. Anyway, let's open up the phone lines. 0201-277-0993 for the men. 0201-277-0993. Can the president win this war? Here we are again. For the ladies, 0201-465-7190. And on WhatsApp, it's 080-959-758051. On YouTube Live, we're on Facebook Live, Nigeria Info FM. You can join us via Skype if you're listening from outside of the country. I'll give everybody 1 minute straight to the point. If you don't finish at 1 minute, I'll let you go and take another call. But let's, from what my guest has said, is there any hope in the radar? On the radar, I beg your pardon. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Lydia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Robert. I'm calling from Apapa.
Go ahead.
Please ask your guest when he said the only thing the president can do is to remove Kyari. Does it mean that the president, who is the minister of petrol, is not aware that the fuel price is not, is increased? Does it mean that Tinubu is not aware that Kyari, NNPC, I don't know. Does it mean Tinubu is not aware? I want your guest to tell Nigerians.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Robert. Let's take another call quickly. Hello.
Hello, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Mercy calling from Aguraigbere.
Go ahead, Mercy.
Okay. The time of Buhari, they said that some people that control Buhari. Now, Tinubu enter. Now, the same people now, too, they control Amabi. Nigeria. Oh, you well. Which way? Which way Nigeria like this? Okay, what is the solution right now? Because we are dying. Maryann. It is well.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello.
Yeah, Sean Lady, good evening.
Good evening.
Why is that man making excuses for the president? Before Buhari left office, they make sure they run things with Owando. Who owns Owando? How can you tell me the president don't have power to control, what is it called, Kyari? I asked the question, who owns Owando? Today they want to acquire Ajib. NNPC, you can't build your own refinery, then Dangote will produce product, you will buy everything off. You have 25 modular refinery, which they said the president said they should give crude to. How come nobody is talking about those 25 modular refinery? Why must it be Dangote own alone?
That's a good question for Fyneface to respond to. Thank you, Mr.
The
Chris.
president don't know about it.
All right.
We all are in for it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Fyneface, this is a question that falls under your purview. You are in charge of these. You work with these modular refineries. So what exactly is the answer to all these questions that they're asking?
Yeah, I think I will continue. I will start with what the last person said, that Mr. President don't have power to control. I have said Mr. President has power to control and make all the changes he wants, but all he needs is the political will to drive that process. Modular refineries, why have they refused to license modular refineries, especially for artisanal refiners in the Niger Delta? because to a very large extent, they don't want the people who are in the communities where this product is found to participate in the oil and gas process. And that is why the pipeline vandalism will continue. We've campaigned and advocated on this issue for modular refining licenses to be given to youths who are involved in illegal refineries. But they are not pushing on that direction, even when nobody is even talking about refining DPK, which is kerosene, for the local people to use. All of this put together, I don't understand why they are not trying to give licenses for modular refinery, especially for youths who are involved in illegal refineries. The other people who go into private modular refinery operations, do they have the, talking about the feed, that is the crude oil, to really go into refining? A lot of them are frustrated one way or the other. So I don't know why they don't want to liberalize the issue of refining in this country. It is also because the people that are involved in the presidential circle are frustrating all of this from happening. The reason why you have all of this cabal within the president is because they manipulate all of this at their own benefit. If you agree with me, you will see that whatever appointment that Mr. President makes, they only say the appointment has been approved by Mr. President. That means the appointment were made by a certain person within the presidency and only approved by Mr. President. So the people that are in charge of all of this must allow Nigerians to breathe.
How do Nigerians make them allow them breathe? Because we can't keep begging. We've been begging, we've been soliciting for years. It happened for so long under the Buhari administration, 8 years, and now here we are in the Tinubu administration. Something does have to give, and what is that thing?
I think it's unfortunate because at some point, former President Buhari did say that when he leaves office, that Nigerians we miss him. Nigerians, we know that he has left office. And a lot of people were complaining, how can that be possible? I can tell you today that at least 70% of Nigerians are missing former President Buhari at an administration that was not thought to be anything good compared to that of former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. But what are we talking about here? We are now in a state of from fry pan to fire. Where are we? The country is in a mess. Nigerians must take the country back to themselves. And that is why a lot of them who never participated in the August 1 protest, we have no reason but to come out on October 1. And I also want to condemn the trial of those who participated in the August 1 that is ongoing across the country. It is only intimidation, but they cannot prevent Nigerians from coming to the street to register their grievances in line with the Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended, that Nigerians have the right to peaceful demonstration. So I think Nigerians should have to sit up, make demands on the system, ask for accountability, and ensure that the social contract for which they put people in office from the state level to the local level to the federal level, they make demands on the system to have a better life.
All right.
The current situation should not and cannot be allowed to continue in the next 2 weeks.
All right. I'll take one more call before we wrap things up here. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Maruka from Festac.
Maruka, go ahead, please.
From everything that is happening in the country, and even from the sarcastic way even your guest is speaking, it's obvious that we will give Mr. President an assignment is much, much bigger than his capacity to solve. I'm not sure, because everything is going, there's no direction. You know, today, the NNPC, I mean, the commander-in-chief, he can change that NNPC, whoever, the head of NNPC if he wants. But he won't want to do that because doing that will jeopardize his own economic interest.
What do you think is the president's own economic interest?
Owando buying over Ajib is very strategic to the family business. He has been taken over. And there are some corner secrets that everybody they do, just like they all have intelligence about each other. So they're protecting. There are things, and he needs him to be there to finish off certain things.
Okay, all right, Maduka.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for calling. Because of time, I think I want to quickly just read some messages that are coming in before I let Fyneface go. Let me go to WhatsApp here and read some of the messages that are coming in. This one says, I greet you, Maryann. Your guest has succeeded in contradicting himself big time. In one breath, he said Kyari is more powerful than Tinubu. In another, he said Tinubu should sack Kyari. How can Tinubu sack someone who is more powerful than him? The bottom line is that Kyari never went round the country to seek for the votes of Nigerians, promising to solve their problems. That's were clearly identified at the time. And also from Maryland, This one says, I agree to protest, but not street protest. It is evident that it will lead to looting. How will your guest manage the street protest when there is looting? Police cannot manage too many crowds in the streets. Well, you can't tell people how to protest, okay? So however they want to protest, I'm guessing that if we want to avoid these kinds of things, then government needs to do their job. Emmanuel from VI says, your guest is just being biased and not providing the solution to the current fuel situation. All those examples and names mentioned are not the solution. Please, it's solution you should be providing and not who to blame or arrest at this point. So how does he provide solution if he's not in charge of those departments? Maybe I'm just quickly, Fyneface, before I let you go. Solutions.
Yeah, definitely.
You have 1 minute.
The guest wasn't listening. I provided solution. I've talked about the fact that Dangote should be given the opportunity to be able to refine and make this product available to Nigerians. I've talked about the fact that the Port Harcourt refinery that is said to be producing in September should come on stream. Port Harcourt refinery 2, Warri and Kaduna should also come on stream. I've talked about smaller refineries that these people should be given opportunity to refine. I've also talked about the importance of making sure that NNPCL is made not to manipulate the situation in such a way that Nigerians will suffer. Okay. And as a way forward, it is important that Mr. President looks into the operation of NNPCL and see what they can do to making sure that Nigerians are not suffering the way we are currently suffering.
All right. Fyneface Dumnamene is the national facilitator of project with Artisanal Crude Oil Refiners, PACOR, which is in the Niger Delta. Always a pleasure to have you join us on the conversation. Well, here's to hoping that when Mr. President comes back, something will be done about our current situation. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Fyneface.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to seeing the petroleum minister back in the country very soon.
Okay, thank you very much for being part of the show. Well, we have some information, Lagos. When we come back, I'll be saying my goodbye. Stay with us.
Yes, Lagos, we are still giving away money here on Nigeria Info, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the one play rave happening on Nigeria Info. All you have to do to partake in this is just go to the website www.oneplay.ng or just dial the code *347*880*3# and play with as little as 500 naira. Choose your station Nigeria Info. Follow the instructions, and in a few seconds, your ticket will be in the draw. Remember, Lagos, it's a case of the more you play, the better your chances of winning every day. So you do not want to sleep on it, okay? There's money to be won on Money Crossfire. There's money to be won on WhatsApp.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.